right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I think I am live. Yeah, I should be live. Good morning, everybody. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Nick. I am the local South Florida Uber driver. I'm local just because you never really know where I'm gonna be in the next couple days, months, years. Hey, but I primarily work the South Florida market. And in today's video, well, listen, I'm trying to do this live stream again because y'all was talking trash about me yesterday, talking about my screen done went off, frozen, and all of that stuff there. I don't know what y'all talking about because YouTube ain't tell me that, but it should definitely be on today. Today we gonna talk about this money though. We gonna talk about what's the secret to making $300 a day. So if you are in the chat, if you are seeing this on your screen, you at work, whatever the case is, man, we talking about the money today. Because I ain't get to talk about it yesterday. And I got a lot of messages and stuff talking about, oh, I'm frozen and I ain't even on the screen. Look, y'all don't understand. Look, I am driving. I got good internet service. It normally works. But sometimes it don't, So, yeah, I don't know. I don't be knowing. It's really about the internet. Because YouTube don't tell me. YouTube don't tell me, hey, your stream is down or nothing like that. So, unfortunately/fortunately. But yeah, man. So, I'm going to just get into it. I know if you're watching this on the replay or whatever. So, the secret to making $300 a day is the same secret to making $100 a day. You just, if I'm gonna keep it honest, there's no real secret. Unfortunately, that's how everybody thinks there's a secret just because you haven't done it. And but when you do it, you start to realize this really isn't that hard. It's not a hard thing to make $100 on Uber, especially if you start to understand, okay, first and foremost, how am I making my money? Is it the platform? So are you on Uber X? Are you Comfort driver? Are you a Comfort Electric driver? I mean, I don't really get a ton of Comfort Electric, so. Are you like, are you a Premier driver? Do you only drive Premier? That's the first standpoint. What type of vehicle do you have? Because if you understand what type of vehicle you have and what platforms you like to drive, then it makes the conversation easier. Everybody thinks like making $300, $400, $500 is universal. It's not. It's dependent on your style. So you don't drive like I do, and I don't drive like you do. First and foremost, respectfully, right? I like longer trips. There's a lot of you guys that say, oh, I wouldn't take that long trip. I will, because I'm not driving. But, if you got a normal car or whatever, I get it. So my proposition is that I can take trips that you won't take. On the flip side, you guys take some short trips that I would never take. I don't like short trips because it's just a lot of, it's just in and out. I don't like them short trips, man. Personally. Because it's more people that I got to deal with, more interactions. Y'all know these passengers stink. Yeah, I'm good. I don't like them short trips. But some of y'all do. So, and it depends on the type of vehicle. If you got an XL vehicle, then obviously you're paid a little bit better per mile because your vehicle's bigger. So you can take different types of trips than I can take. I don't have an XL vehicle. I primarily do X and Comfort. I would say about 99% of my rides are X and Comfort. I know everybody thinks I get Premier. I know everybody thinks, I just get these great, amazing rides. I don't. I do this off of X and Comfort. That's how I work. Personally, there are a lot of people in my group, in the Telegram group, that literally only have X and they killing it. They make a lot more money than I do. But I mean, when I did only have X, when I did only have a vehicle that had the X platform, I still was able to kill it. I made my $2,000 weeks, a lot of them, off of X rides. lot of my $2,000 weeks over the years have been on the X platform. You know, if you watch my most recent video, no, I didn't do any X rides in this recent video, but I damn sure did 99. Well, I say like 99% of my rides were comfort rides. And my most recent $2,000 a week video that I did the other day, it's not the platform. It's the way that you drive. It's what car do you have. So, okay, cool. So, I'm not going to speak like I know every single strategy in the world. I don't. I'm not going to talk like I have all of the answers. All I can say is, if you know what type of platform you drive, then you got to think about what type of customers are you driving. I know I'm getting really technical because that's what y'all want, right? Y'all want to know the secret to making $300. The secret is you got to find your customers so that they can pay you $300. That's the secret. I just told you, yeah. You got to find the customers that's going to pay you the $300 the way that you want them to. So in my case, I want long rides. Give me 4 rides, I'll be at $200. Give me 6, 7 rides, I'll be at $300. You get what I'm saying? Because that's the type of rides that I like. Those are the rides that I like. So it's like $50, $60 rides. $50, $60 rides, obviously, what is that? Times 4 is 240 times I can't do my math right now. You know, like times 5 is 360. So 5 rides, I should be at $300 with the rides that I like. Now, obviously, I don't get all 100% of my rides aren't going to be great. Some of the rides are just going to be here and there, whatever. But that's my strategy. I want $50, $60 rides. I want to take an hour worth of my time to drop this person off for $50, $60. I dropped them off. Okay, boom. I dropped them off at $50, $60. And yeah, I keep going. That's my strategy. So let me just kind of reiterate. You start off with the car. That's the very simple thing. What platforms do you have access to? So I have access to Uber X. I have Comfort Electric, and Premier. I don't get a ton of Premier rides. This is a Model 3. So for me, even though I have the Premier category, I don't get a ton of them. So that's not the category for me. For other people, you know, whatever, Premier might be amazing. For me, when I do get the Premier rides, they cancel. So I can't rely on the Premier category. So the only 2 ride types that I really rely on are Uber X and Comfort Electric. So Uber X, Comfort, and Comfort Electric. Comfort Electric does not come in that often. I maybe get 1 Comfort Electric a month. And that's being very generous. Really, it's like 1 Comfort Electric every other month. So I can't rely on Premier and I can't rely on Comfort Electric. So the 2 categories that I have is the 2 categories that most people have. Uber X and Comfort. See, I keep wanting to say Comfort Electric, so forgive me. Uber X and Comfort. Those are the 2 categories that I have. I am fishing for bigger rides. That's my strategy. So I can talk about Uber X and Comfort. I can't really talk about XL because I don't do XL. All I can do is assume, based on the information that I have from Uber X and Comfort, I can assume that XL passengers will be at clubs because I know that's when a lot of people try to fit in my car. Most of the time when I get like 6, 7 people trying to fit in my car, it's from a club. So I can assume that XL passengers will be at clubs. I can assume when I go to the port, when I work the ports every now and then, and I get in all of that traffic, I have people with a ton of luggage. I can assume that that would be where XL rides are. I can assume that people want to do XL to kind of flex. I can assume that because they want, you know, I can assume that if it's a bigger person, kind of like me. I mean, I am losing weight, y'all. You know, I'm losing a couple pounds. But, you know, I can assume that a bigger person will want an XL vehicle because I understand what it is when they get in my car. These are assumptions. But I don't work the XL platform, so I'm not gonna say I know everything about XL. I work UberX and Comfort. So speaking from the standpoint of UberX and Comfort, obviously I'm not in a dead market, but I have been. I used to work Homestead, Florida. If anybody knows anything about South Florida, Homestead, Florida is not a great market. I used to have to drive 20, 30 minutes to go to downtown Miami and to get into an active area. Now, saturated is the word, but that's where I used to go. So I can't tell anybody to do something that I wasn't willing to do. I would go to downtown Miami and then, try to figure out where. I would go to Fort Lauderdale. I would go to West Palm Beach to figure it out. So I didn't have a problem with driving that far. Some of you guys do. I understand. I can't help you. I'm sorry. I was willing to make the money. So I always tell everybody, once you figure out your platforms, once you understand how you want to drive, long rides, short rides, you want to go to the place where those people are going to be. Yeah, you can get some long rides in Homestead but Homestead is just, there's nobody when I say there's nobody, the people in Homestead want to stay in Homestead. So I'm not going to get the long rides. So I have to go in the places where I'm going to get the long rides from. And everybody's market is different. And, there's different spots in Miami. There's different spots in Fort Lauderdale. There's different spots in West Palm Beach. And obviously in the other market. So these are universal statements that I'm making. It's not specific to South Florida. It's not specific to Miami. But if you know Miami, you know that Homestead is at the bottom of the map. Homestead is right before you start going into, so you pass by Florida City, and then you're on that bridge to go to Key West. If anybody's listening from any other state, that's where Homestead is. So it is a very rural area. It's where people really, if you going that far down south, you want to stay in your area. You're not really trying to go nowhere up north. If anything, you're going down south. And I don't want to go to Key West. So it's just not a overall good spot, in other words. But that's where I used to live, and that's where I used to work. So what do? I would have to drive. I drove to the place where I would find the people that want a long ride. So, that's the second standpoint, I guess. First and foremost, you got to know your platform. It's very simple. Know the platforms that you like to work and understand your strategy. That's number two. Well, no, number two is go to the place where those people are so you can get the rides. So if you like short rides, short bangers, and you work XL, again, I would assume you got to go to clubs. You got to work the night shift. You got to work the time where the clubs are letting out. Your favorite clubs should be the favorite places, the biggest clubs. So for us in Miami, we got Club Space and Club Space and 11. Those are the two biggest clubs in Miami. Well, some of them. In Wynwood, you got Dirty Rabbit. You got a couple other clubs, but universally, Club Space and 11 are like the bigger clubs that are more widely known. Yeah, as a local, I know a couple other spots in Wynwood, whatever, we can figure it out. But so if I was an XL driver, you know where I would be? And this is where you see a lot of those black SUVs at. This is where you see a lot of the other XL drivers in the same spots. Unfortunately, you got to go to a place where people are going to be at that want your services. Now, obviously, you're going to have to fight. You don't really have to fight them, but it's about your strategy. You want the short rides, you want the long rides. You want the high dollar rides? Well, okay, look, everybody wants the high dollar rides. So you're going to wait longer. If you want the short rides, if you cool with like a $10, $15 ride, then you'll wait less than somebody that's waiting for a $100 ride. You know what I'm saying? It's all about your strategy. Your strategy and where you go to get the rides. Now, once you figure that part out, it should start clicking, because you should start making at least $100 every other night, or at least every night. Because that's all it is. That's the name of the game. The name of the game is know your market and know your strategy. That's it. After that, I can tell you, I don't have to tell you nothing else. There's nothing else that I can really tell you. Because that is the name of Uber. Know your market and know your strategy. So yeah, man, I've been talking a little bit. I see you guys are commenting, so I'm sorry I haven't really been looking at the comments. Forgive me. Let me actually read some comments. So as you can see, I'm a little bit more up close and personal. I see some comments are getting removed, so I'm sorry. Yep, you hear my car. You hear my car talking to me. I don't know. It just wasn't. It wasn't staying in the lane. So forgive me, guys. Forgive me. So let me see. So let me read the comments. I drive a Baja Bug. I'm amazed at the things it can do. Exactly. So shout out to Summer. The one and only Nicole. Shout out to Nicole. I don't know what you were saying, but it's gone. Marty says, my every step is a calculated move. I can see the future and I'm just being honest. All right, well, shout out to you. Steve says the secret is don't get, why does this car look like he's so close to me? My bad. The secret is don't get deactivated. Shout out to Steve. Steve's funny. Yes, that's the other secret. Don't get deactivated. That's the real secret. Because you can really make as much money as you need to as long as you don't get deactivated. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody that commented. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to you all. So it's about making money, man. That's what this is all about. The secret to making $300 is the same secret that it is to making $100. If you can make $100, you can make $200. If you can make $200, you can make $300. And if you can make $300, you can easily make $400. Does that make sense? That's the whole point. And if you understand your market and you understand your strategy, that's pretty much the game. That's the game. So knowing your strategy, knowing your vehicle type, knowing where your passengers are going to be, location is everything. And then the final secret is knowing the time to be there. That's it. That's the secret. You got to know what time to be where and where to be. So just because I go to Wynwood right now doesn't mean that I'm gonna get a $50, $60 ride. But maybe if I go at the right time, I might get a $50, $60 ride. Just because I go to South Beach doesn't mean I'm gonna get a $50, $60. Does that make sense? Just because you know where to go doesn't mean that you're going to get the ride that you want, especially if it's the wrong time. You gotta know the time. Everything in Uber, everything with